listening to Be Inspired, your one-stop shop for inspiration. Stay tuned for your inspiring show. Now, here's your host, Erica.
All right, Be Inspired listeners, I am so thrilled about who we have in the Be Inspired Cafe. He is the drummer for Toby Mac, and he is also the founder of Be It Clothing. I know that you're going to be inspired by him. So welcome with me into the Be Inspired Cafe, B. Haley. How are you doing?
What's up? How you guys doing? I'm so happy, honored, and privileged to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. I don't even know where to start. I read your story, and I was just blown away by all that you've accomplished and everything that you've overcome. So could you tell those listening just a bit about yourself and what it is that you do right now?
Okay, well, my name is B. Haley. I'm the drummer, notably known for Toby Mac, Diverse City. I have my own band called Superheroes that's been opening up for Toby Mac in Diverse City. And also I started the #1 clothing line in all Christian apparel called Be It Clothing. And Be It is just a call to action for you to be all that God has called you to be. And it's so funny and it's so interesting that Be It kind of co-inspires with Be Inspired. So I'm honored and privileged. It's a no-brainer to be on the phone with you, and I'm just happy to be here to be able to inspire anybody.
Wow. Talk about confirmation. When I saw that Be It, I was like, oh, yeah, I love it. So I was just looking at your story, and I saw that you overcame a lot, and it's like, who hasn't? But can you tell us what the journey was like? Because everyone sees you now. You're a drummer for Toby Mac. You have this awesome clothing line. But I know it wasn't always like that. So how did you start out, and how did you get to where you're at?
Well, basically what happened was I just had a dream. God gave me a dream. God gave me a vision. And my whole life story is based off of Joshua 1:9, where it says, be strong, be courageous, do not be scared, do not be terrified. Our God is with us wherever we should go. So a long story cut short, about 3 years ago, I had a really low point. And a lot of people think with the platform that I have with Toby that artists like us, surely we don't have bad days and surely we're not human, but we do. And I was at a really low point. So basically, God showed me everything that I was going outside of myself to try to find, he had already put down within me. So it's just like a treasure. A lot of times treasures are buried. But God showed me all I have to do is basically get my spiritual shovel out and start digging up deep down inside, whether it's love, whether it's hope, whether it's just great business endeavors, whatever it was, everything that I needed to succeed was already down on the inside of me. And with that being said, if it's that way for me, it's that way for everybody. But somehow life has a way of those treasures. You know, life has a way of burying those treasures. And they're down, and it's all we got to do is just dig down and pull them back up out because they're down there waiting on us to recapture them, you know, and to use them, you know.
You preaching right now. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh, yes. So that for that person that's probably facing adversity, I know I shared a blog that basically says sometimes we have to fight. So with you knowing what God was calling you to do, how did you keep going? How did you keep going when everyone wasn't praising you or maybe encouraging you? What kept you to fight to where you're at?
Honestly, it was the truth. And the truth is, be strong, be courageous. I am more than a conqueror. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am the first and not the last. So when nobody's telling you that, just like Peter said, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. So how did I encourage myself? And I still do it every day. I encourage myself through the Word. I don't look what people say about me, but I look to what God says about me.
Oh, my gosh. You sure you don't want to become a pastor on the side? Oh, this is good. So I have a question. How has it been balancing, because you're famous, how do you balance that and staying humble and giving God the glory out of the platform that he's put you on?
Man, honestly, to me, it's just me knowing my place and me staying in my lane. And the only reason why God has done blessed me, and this is what humbles me, the only reason why he's blessing me is just to be a blessing to other people. Because without the people, there's no me. There is no me without people. So I'm just happy that people are willing to listen to and buy apparel and listen to music that I'm producing and that I'm putting out there. Because without the people, it's funny because Business would tell you to cater towards the retailers. But I'm like, no, I'm going to cater towards God first, and then I'm going to give the people what they want. If you give the people what they want and give God what they want, like God said, if he's lifted up, he's going to draw all the men. And if you give people what they want, people, wherever people go, retailers follow. So it's just that simple. God just gives me basic principles. Stay in my lane, because in my lane is where God is at. So I don't try to move out of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's some good advice. Now, I was listening to your song, the Freaks. Did I mess up the name of it?
Yeah,
Super Freak. It. Super Freak, yeah. Please, I have got to know the inspiration for that. What was your inspiration when you did that?
Well, honestly, one of my mentors is Toby Mac, and Toby had a song back in the 90s called Jesus Freak that hit worldwide. And, you know, me playing that song on stage with him the past 10 years, I'm like, man, it's time for a new movement. It's time for us to have a spiritual makeover, if you will. So I'm like, this whole thing is a movement. It's just not a great song. Super Freak is Jesus Freak. It's just not a great song. It's a great song, but more than that, it's a movement. And whenever you have something within a movement form, people are more able to kind of, you know, support it and basically, you know, be the breath up under the wings of it. So God gave me the concept of Super Freak. It's time. Jesus Freak and all that stuff was cool. It was time for Jesus Freaks. But now, in our day and time, it's time to have some Super Freaks. And the word freak means whenever you're highly enthused, whatever you're highly enthused about. So I'm really highly enthused in Jesus, and I'm highly enthused for me to be all he's called me to be. And I'm very highly enthused, too, to help be inspired. You know, and I want to inspire people just like you. That's my goal. That's my niche in life, and that's my lane.
Wow, that was my next question. Talk about the Holy Spirit. I was going to ask you, what is that legacy that you want to leave? What is it that you want anyone that comes in contact with your ministry, with your clothing line, or any part of you, what is it that you want them to take away from it? Honestly,
I want people to be inspired. I want to help people to be all God has called them to be. And honestly, it starts with me first. So if I'm being all God has called me to be, because you can preach stuff and not live it, but I just want to live my life through example. I don't have to say anything. But if I'm living my life through the example that God's called me to be, that's all the talking I need. The talking is my lifestyle. It's not the moving of my lips. It's basically my lifestyle, you know?
Oh, yes. So I want to know, for those that are listening right now, they want to support you, they want to get connected with you and follow up with all that you're doing. What's the best way to support you, and what's the best way to get connected with you?
Okay, you can find me on www.c28.com/B Haley, and that's where my clothing line is at. You can also find me at www.superheroes.com, and you spell it SUPERHEROSE, like heroes from the grave, superheroes. And you can also find me, too, on www.tobymac.com.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful inspirational message. And so on behalf of everyone to Be Inspired, we want to thank you for being an inspiration to all those around you.
Well, thank you guys so much. And I want to encourage you guys, be inspired. Be all God has called you to be. And the best testament you can have and the best witness you can have is through you living your life. Less speak words, do more actions.